Hello everyone! Ang aking vlog ay tungkol sa paggawa ko ng Learning Delivery Modalities 2 for LAC Leaders. Ako ay na-appoint lately bilang LAC Leader ng Group 1 at sa ngayon ay practicum portfolio na ang aming ginagawa. Kaya ay aking ipapakita kung paano ko nga ba ginawa ang aking practicum portfolio bilang LAC Leader. Makikita nyo sa aking video na ginawa ko muna ito bilang isang PowerPoint presentation. Nilagay ko ang aking picture. Ang title nito na Learning Delivery Modalities 2 for LAC Leaders. Sa itaas ay nilagay ko ang logo ng Deped at ng aming eskwelahan. Nilagay ko rin ang Republic of the Philippines, Department of Education, Region 5, Schools Division of Masbate Province at pangalan ng eskwelahan namin ng Cristita Bagano Memorial High School. Tapos, yung title na Practicum Portfolio, School Year 2020-2021. Aking pangalan ang kasunod na si Tande La Rosa, aking position na Teacher 3, at ang pangalan ng aming principal at ang kanyang designation bilang Principal 1. Ang sunod na page nito ay ang Table of Contents na kung saan makikita nyo na mayroong tatlong hanay. Una-una ay ang LDM artifacts, remarks at ang PPST strands. PPST ay nangangahulugang Philippine Professional Standards. So, sa LDM artifacts, mayroong 7 para sa LAC Leaders. Ang una-unang LDM artifact ay MOV on providing technical assistance to colleagues about giving feedback to learners. Sa remarks, nilagay ko ano ang laman ng aking artifact or MOV. This contains photos as proof of coaching and mentoring colleagues about giving feedback to learners. Ang PPST strand niyan ay 5.3, feedback to improve learning. Mas pinili kong gamitin yung LDM artifact, sinunod ko yung nasa guide at hindi ko ginamit yung name of artifacts. Ang ikalawa kong artifact ay COT rating sheet o Classroom Observation Tool rating sheet. For remarks, nilagay ko, this contains photo documentation of the Classroom Observation Tool rating sheets and portions of the lesson plan about teaching strategies used by a colleague to respond to the needs of the learners in difficult circumstances. Ang PPST strand nito ay 3.4, learners in difficult circumstances. Ang ikatlo kong artifact ay MOV on providing feedback to colleagues on the development and use of learning resources such as self-learning modules, activity sheets, and others. For the remarks, nilagay ko, this contains photo documentation to show qualitative feedback to learning resources such as learning activity sheets or LAS developed by colleagues and quality assured during inset and other group meetings. The PPST strand for this is 4.5, teaching and learning resources including ICT. Then, ang ikapat ko na artifact ay lesson plans such as DLP, DLL, daily lesson plan or daily lesson log or weekly home learning plan, weekly learning plan, weekly learning log, lesson exemplars, and the likes. For the remarks, inilagay ko, this includes a weekly home learning plan and a daily lesson log to show the improvements I made in creating them. So, ang PPSC strands nito ay 4. 3.4, learners in difficult circumstances. 4.1, planning and management of teaching and learning process. 4.2, learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies. And 5.1, design, selection, organization, and utilization of assessment strategies. So, another artifact, pang-5, MOVs on professional engagement with colleagues. For the remarks, ang sinulat ko, this includes photo documentation of socially distanced in-person LAC sessions, LDM-related LAC chats or group, and personal messages on Messenger and in-service trainings. So, ang PPST strand nito ay 7.3, professional links with colleagues. Then, ang pang-6 na artifact para sa aming mga LAC leaders ay MOVs on engaging key stakeholders in the teaching learning process. For the remarks, inilagay ko yung this includes photo documentation of conversations with parents or guardians through chat or text, and parents dropping off modules at designated school boxes. Ang PPST strand nito ay dalawa. Communication of learner needs, progress and achievement to key stakeholders, engage at 5.4 yun. Then 6.2, engagement of parents and the wider school community in the educative process. Ang last artifact para sa aming LAC leaders ay reflective summary. For the remarks, sinulat ko, this reflective essay reflects my abilities and what I have achieved this year through the Learning Delivery Modalities course. This describes my personal experiences in implementing distance learning delivery modality, shows a depth analysis and synthesis of this experience, and relates it to professional standards and to my professional and personal development goals. Ang PPST strand nito ay 7.4, Professional Reflection and Learning to Improve Practice. So yan po lahat ang laman ng aking table of contents. Sinali ko talaga ang remarks, unlike sa iba na dalawang table lamang kasi nasaad sa guide na dapat hanay ang table of contents. LDM artifacts, remarks, tungkol saan ang mga artifacts at saka yung PPST strand. Although mamaya makikita nyo may annotation pa naman ang mga artifacts ko. Then sa next page nito, nandito na yung una-una kong artifact. The first artifact ko ay MOV on providing technical assistance to colleagues about giving feedback to learners. Ang PPST strand nito ay 5.3, Feedback to Improve Learning. Makikita nyo sa aking artifact na may picture kasama ang co-teacher kong si Ma'am Cos. Then, picture ng inset namin na kung saan ginagawa kong quality assurance ng self-learning modules. Sa annotation, sinulat ko, helping our fellow teachers, especially when they need technical assistance in doing their daily functions in school, is a good practice to make everyone in school adept in performing their tasks and in contributing to the full development of the learner's potentials. In this artifact, I helped my co-teachers in senior high school by means of a one-on-one mentoring on the ways of giving feedback to the learners, such as through home PTA meetings wherein some of the attendees were learners whose parents were unable to attend due to some reasons. Then through release of cards, and most importantly through group chats, text messages, and phone calls. Also informed them on the use of answer sheets, which must be returned to the learners promptly with teachers' feedback on the scores obtained by the learners so that they could do better the next time they answer the modules or activity sheets. During the INSET 2020, I was the INSET coordinator and I facilitated several topics wherein giving feedback to learners was mentioned. Then, next artifact is the Classroom Observation Tool Rating Sheet. The PPST strand for this is 3.4, Learners in Difficult Circumstances. Makikita nyo ang rating sheet at observer's notes ng aking co-teacher. Ang gumawa nito ang nag-observe sa kanyang aming school head or principal mismo at hindi ako. So for the annotation, at nandito rin ang daily lesson log. So for the annotation, nilagay ko, in this artifact, I helped my fellow senior high school teacher in the delivery of her next lesson after her first classroom observation, wherein I advised her on the strategies that she should use to address the learners in difficult circumstances and other matters related to teaching. I advised her on giving different activities to suit the needs of her learners and also to use different means of delivering her lesson by means of contacting her learners in different ways, not only through distribution of modules each week. This is a good way of helping my fellow teacher improve her abilities and strategies as a teacher. So, yan ang pangalawa. Next na artifact ko ay lesson plans. Example, DLP, DLL, Weekly Home Learning Plan, WLP, WLL, Lesson Exemplars, and the likes. Ang PPST strands nito ay 3.4, Learners in Difficult Circumstances, 4.1, Planning and Management of Teaching and Learning Process, 4.2 Learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies. 5.1 Design, selection, organization, and utilization of assessment strategies. So, makikita niyo rito ang ginamit ko kong weekly home learning plan at saka daily lesson log. Dalawa ang aking nilagay na MOV. So, sa annotation, isinulat ko, it's good to have a plan of our weekly activities with our students so that there will be a smooth flow of the lesson that we're giving them, especially because in our school, we implemented the modular distance learning modality. The weekly home learning plan and daily lesson log that I used helped as a guide on the appropriate teaching and learning processes in the delivery of my lessons. This made me aware on the alignment of the learning outcomes to the learning competencies. This weekly home learning plan and DLL made me select the activities for my students which were aligned also with the competencies. So, ang next ko na artifact ay MOVs on professional engagement with colleagues. Ang PPSC strand nito ay 7.3, professional links with colleagues. So, makikita nyo ang pictures na kung saan umattend ako ng aming inset at saka group chat sa messenger at saka personal chat sa aking isang co-teacher. So, sa annotation, inilagay ko, teachers should help one another in order to develop their abilities and to make teaching and learning attainable. In this artifact, I attended the different LAC sessions and also the in-service training for teachers conducted this March 2021. I helped in the quality assurance of the learning activity sheets or LAS, not only in this inset but also during the inset in December 2020, wherein I was appointed as the Learning and Development Coordinator who prepared the training proposal, training matrix, and other documents related to the inset. I also engaged with my colleagues through group chats and personal messages on Messenger so that we could come up with our ideas on how to make the LDM portfolio since I was appointed lately as the new LAC leader of Group 1. This is a good way of showing that we work collaboratively despite the vacations that many of us hope to enjoy since classes were already done for school year 2020-2021. Ang next artifact ay MOVs on engaging key stakeholders in the teaching learning process. Ang PPST strands nito ay dalawa. 5.4 Communication of learner needs, progress, and achievement to key stakeholders. At 6.2 Engagement of parents and the wider school community in the educative process. Makikita niyo ang picture na saan kaharap ko ang mga magulang nakukuha ng modules ng kanilang mga anak during the first day of release at ginawa ko muna sila ng short orientation kung anong mangyayari sa distribution and retrieval of the modules each week. Tapos, meron akong text message sa isang guardian at saka chat sa isang parent tungkol sa kanilang anak. So, sa annotation, nilagay ko, before the start of classes, parents were already actively engaged in the teaching-learning process when they participated in the dry run of the distribution and retrieval of modules in our school. During the beginning of classes on October 5, 2020, parents started their tasks of getting and then later on of returning the modules in our school. The parents of my learners were very much involved in the educative process in our school since they were getting and returning the modules each week. Then they would contact me as the class advisor of their children when they had queries or whenever there's a need through chats on Messenger and text messages. When there's a scheduled meeting, I would send them a letter a week before our homeroom PTA meetings. Ang last artifact para sa aming mga LAC leaders ay isang reflective summary. Ang PPST strand nito ay 7.4, Professional Reflection and Learning to Improve Practice. So ito yung aking reflective summary in an essay form. It's not easy to continue education with the existence of this pandemic. Our learners suffer a lot and many of them could not easily learn the lessons because they have to be away from their school and teachers. But we teachers can do a lot of things to help our learners learn despite their current situation. We might have suffered also from this pandemic and this new normal in education, but we must keep on doing our best to impart knowledge to our students. Doing the LDM2 course for teachers helped me to become a better and more responsive facilitator of learning who is aware of the different needs of my learners and how to address them. This course made me realize that as long as we, teachers, are doing our tasks properly and promptly, we could respond to the needs of these challenging times, and we could make our learners and their parents be responsive and collaborative in the educative process. There are a lot of things that must be done in school nowadays, especially because the modular distance learning modality is implemented in our school and division. Our learners found it hard to learn and master the lessons through this modular distance learning modality implemented in our school. They were not able to develop their skills to the fullest because they were far from their teachers. Many of them struggled in answering their modules and the activity sheets given to them or their summative assessments and performance tasks. There were those who really did not answer the modules, and as their advisor, I had to give it back to their parents or guardians. I also had to resort to phone calls, text messages, and chats on Messenger in order to contact my learners and their parents. I did a home visitation also so that I would know the reasons why my learners were not able to answer their modules and why they got low scores in their summative assessments and were not able to answer their performance task. All of these were tedious, but these were needed for us to deliver good service to our clientele and to ensure that learning would still take place while the learners were at home answering their modules. As a teacher, I feel that I must do my part of molding the minds of my learners even though they were just at home. I know that I lack so many things to my learners because I was not there teaching them the lessons, but I believe also that due to the preparations that I made as their advisor, I was able to contribute to their development, be it partial if not absolute. And this LDM2 course for teachers contributed a lot in making me aware of my roles and responsibilities as a teacher who perform my tasks despite the existence of this pandemic. So sa annotation nilagay ko, this past school year 2021 brought a lot of hardships to many of us to the extent that the quality of education is at stake already. But teachers are burdened with the heavy task of continuously giving the best education that the learners should receive despite this global health crisis. Being a teacher is a challenge to show my commitment and dedication to my profession since there's an ongoing threat of worldwide infection of the coronavirus disease or COVID-19. I feel afraid, same with most Filipinos, but I know that I could not stop performing my roles and responsibilities as a teacher. This learning delivery modality 2 for teachers contributed a lot in my preparations since I did not become lenient and lazy in my work. I was able to do my tasks and prepare a lot of reports because of this course. I was continually motivated and reminded of my roles to achieve the vision, mission, and goals of the Department of Education where I belong and work as a committed teacher. So ito lahat ang laman ng practicum portfolio naming mga LAC leader. Bawat artifact nito ay dapat nilalagyan ng annotation sa dulo. Kailangan maging artistic at creative tingnan ang portfolio, yung maganda sa paningin. At syempre, ang laman niya ay maganda rin ang nakalagay. So, PowerPoint presentation pa lamang ito. Kailangan ko itong i-convert into PDF. At ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano mag-convert into PDF ng aking practicum portfolio from PowerPoint presentation. Madali lang naman po gawin ang ating practicum portfolio. As long as may ginawa naman tayo noong may klase pa. Pero kung wala tayong ginawa at tayo ay nagpabaya sa ating pagtuturo, mahihirapan tayong malagyan ng mga MOVs o artifacts ng ating portfolio. Ngayon ay ipapakita ko sa inyo kung paano i-convert ang isang PowerPoint presentation into PDF file. Kasi mas mainam kung naka-PDF file ito para hindi na ito magalaw ng kahit sino pa man kasi isasubmit din to online. Para ma-convert natin ito sa PDF file, pupunta tayo dito sa file. Dito may nakalagay dito na file. Then hanapan natin dito, meron dito save as. So ilalagay ko pa rin siya sa folder na pinangalanan ko lang Cristita Bagano Memorial High School, LDM2 Team A. Then, nandito yung file name niya. PPT pa yan siya. Subalit, para ma-convert siya into PDF, piliin natin dito. Punta tayo sa Save As Type. Nakalagay pa dyan PowerPoint Presentation or PPTX. Kailangan palitan natin yan. So, hanapin natin yung sa PDF file. Makikita nyo kasunod ng PPT ay nandito yung PDF. Ito. Marami dyan PowerPoint template, Office theme, PowerPoint show, GIF graphics. So, ang kailangan natin ay ma-convert natin itong PowerPoint presentation into PDF file. Kaya pipiliin natin dapat itong Save as PDF. Para sa dulo niyan, malagyan niya ng .pdf at hindi na yan PowerPoint presentation, magiging PDF file na yan siya. Ito, yan. So, dahil pinili ko yung PDF, ang nakalagay niya, after ng file name na LDM2 Practicum Portfolio, LAC Leader de la Rosa, ang nakalagay na sa Save as Type ay PDF. So, mako-convert na to siya ngayon as a PDF file. I-click natin ang Save. So, makikita nyo na ang sabi ay Publishing. Nako-convert yan siya into PDF. So, makikita nyo ngayon na iba na ang pangalan. Makikita nyo na sa itaas nakalagay yung LDM Practicum Portfolio LAC Leader de la Rosa .pdf. Isa na siyang PDF file ngayon. Hindi na ito mababago ng kahit sino man dahil naka PDF file na ito. 10 pages pa rin naman siya. So, napakadali lang. Napakadali lang para i-convert ang PPT, PowerPoint presentation into PDF. Basta tandaan nyo, pumunta kayo sa file, i-save as nyo siya. Pwede nyo rin palitan ng pangalan kung gusto nyo palitan ng pangalan. Tapos, piliin nyo yung save as type. Nandun yung pagpipilian ng PowerPoint presentation, PDF at iba pa. At dahil nga gusto nyo i-convert ang PowerPoint presentation into PDF, save as type PDF. Para isa na siyang PDF file. Yan lamang po. Maraming salamat. At kung may natutunan kayo sa aking vlog, mag-subscribe sa aking channel at i-click ang notification bell. Maaari rin kayong mag-comment ng iba pang vlog na aking ipopost sa aking YouTube channel.